Hello guys, how are you doing? I hope you are doing very well. Guys, today we're going to talk about the effects of force on an object. So, we know that many things are going to change around us. These are all because of forces. We know it, but we have different forces and they have different effects, okay, around us. So, today we're going to learn about the different kinds of effects that can happen because of a force. Okay, so Bismillah. A force acting on an object that can cause the object to change. You see, if you look here, you see that a force, when it's acting on an object, it can cause of changing. You see, changing a force and changing. But changing what? This is important. It means force is gonna change something or maybe more than something. Okay, we have many things around that gonna change because of forces. So let's see what are the changing of the objects. So maybe changing its shape or size, to start moving, to stop moving, to go faster, to be slower. So it means these are some changes around us. Okay, some kind of change that happen to the object around us. So it has written here that the effects of the force. So these are the effects that can happen because of different kinds of forces. So like what? Stop moving an object. It means force can stop. Force stops moving. I mean the object, or we can say force can make an object move. Force can speed up a moving object, or maybe force slows down a moving object, or changing the size of an object, or maybe changing the shape of an object, and changing the direction of the object, right? So it means we have different changing, different things that can happen to the objects around us, that all because of the forces. And we have some examples here. I have written the forces in red and the effect in green. Okay, so by green here, and the effects will be by red. So if you look to these two, we will see that in here, because of friction, it means the force is friction, and here the force is catching. You see, catching the ball. And what is the effect of these two? This friction and this catching. Stop a moving object. You see, by these two forces, something happened. It means something changed. The object stopped. So that's why we say when we have forces, something gonna change. So we have friction here. That's why this ball is going to stop, and that's why we have catching, that the man is gonna catch the ball. So that's why the ball again gonna stop, right? So it means we understand that by these two forces we can have stop moving object. It means there is this, it's a kind of changing right around us. And hitting objects, okay, when you hit it you can make the object move. You can see that the ball has stopped there, but after hitting it starts to move. Start moving objects, you see, it has stopped, start moving. And we have something else here, pushing on the ground. You see, when this boy is gonna push the ground, you see, push it. By pushing, something happened. What happened? Speed up a moving object. It means it's already moving, but after pushing, it's going to be faster. You see, after pushing, it's going to be faster. That's why we say by pushing, we can have, in here also, go faster. He can go faster. And it means these two start moving and start moving and stop moving. And this one is speeding off, or we can say going faster. In here, guys, because of friction, I mean, in here we are talking about before stopping. Of course, after continuously the force of friction gonna effect on this, make it slower and slower. At the end, it will stop like the ball. You see, going to be slower and slower until it stops. In this place also, in here too, because of the friction in here, because of the friction of the tire with the ground, you see there's a friction, two surfaces move on each other. So because of this friction, what's the change in here? Slow down a moving object. It means he is moving, but because of the friction, he's gonna be slower. So in here, what's the force? Force is pressing. You see, it's pressing. If you look here, we have pressing. You look here. Look at this part. You can see that it's because of pressing. What's gonna happen? Changing the size of the object. You see the size is gonna change. And in here, you can see this part. By pressing, changing the shape. You see the ball is gonna change. It's not too much, but at least it's gonna change, right? Changing the shape of the object. In here, we have hearing again. It means hearing is not only for start moving, we have hearing for changing direction. You see that? How the ball is gonna change direction. The ball is coming for this side. After hitting, go back to the other side. You see? To the another side. That's why we say that by hitting, which is the force is hitting and changing the direction of the object. And guys, in any parts, we can find different effects. I mean, it's not only one, but we just focus on one. Right now, for this part, the first one, let's mention this. For here, we said that friction is gonna stop moving the object, right? But at the same time, we can say it slows things down because before stopping, it slows down, right? So it means in this part, we can say stop moving and slowing down. Two are gonna be in here too. By the way, for both of them, we have air resistance too. So it means in here, air resistance and friction are gonna slow things down, or we can say gonna stop moving. In here too, catching and friction and air resistance. Three forces are gonna affect on the ball to stop the ball. So it means we have different forces in here, applied force, which is hearing for start moving the object. And in here, guys, we can see different effects. One of them is speeding up, which when it's pushed, and after pushing, you see that there's a friction between the tire and the ground. So slowing down, it's gonna speed up because of pushing, and it's gonna slow down because of the friction and air resistance. You see, we have different forces around us. So in here too, we have air resistance. It's not only friction, but we mentioned the friction. We have air resistance too. In here, applied force, which is pressing for changing the size, but at the same time, it changed the shape too, right? So by pressing, it's also changing the shape of the. I mean, it's applied force, which is pressing, that changing the shape. In here, by hitting, so it changed the direction, but at the same time, we can say that it had air resistance. The ball is gonna slows down, right? And at the end, after pushing it away, after throwing away, it's going to fall on the ground. Why? Because of the gravity. Gravity pulls down to the earth. You see, different forces are going to have different affection. Okay. So in here, I just give an example. In here, you can have million examples around yourself in your life. You can see it. Right now, for example, stop moving. When they catch it by their, if you look here, when this one, kick the ball, then he will catch the ball by his foot. Okay, so you see here, and the ball is gonna stop. That's why we say stop moving, and start moving. After kicking, it start to move. Slowing down, we said we have air resistance and some friction. You see some friction here. So by these two, it's gonna slow down. It's gonna slow down. Okay, so changing direction, of course this one kicked to him, but after this when he kicked back, so it changed the direction. Changing the shape, guys, maybe this one you say what's the changing shape here. If you look here, this part, you see that we said after pressing, the shape of the ball is gonna change a little, not much. But don't you think that it's kind of pressing when after hitting, after kicking the ball? So of course it's kind of pressing like by hands, but in here by his foot, right? So after kicking, there's some pressing, and it's going to be because of some changing, but it's not too much. We are not talking about how much does it change. We are talking about it's changing. just even if it's very less or if it's very much. We just mentioned the changing. So, guys, these are the effects of the forces that we said. We have different forces around us, and each of them will have an effect, okay? Maybe more than one effect. So, we have studied the forces before. Like what? Like this hearing, this is applied force, pressing is applied force, pushing is applied force, pulling is applied force, or air resistance, or in here, air resistance, friction, these are applied forces, right? Hearing is another applied force. I mean, sorry, in here, the friction and what do you call air resistance is a kind of the force, right? So they have the effect too for slowing things down. In here, after kicking the, hitting the ball, sorry, after hitting the ball, it's gonna change the direction, but at the same time, it's gonna go down to the ground. Why? Because of gravity. Gravity make it change. If there is no gravity, so it's not gonna come back to the earth. It's gonna go up. You see? So it means because of gravity, the ball is gonna come back to down to the earth, on the ground. I mean. So it means we have different forces, not only applied force like, for example, catching or hitting or kicking or something or pushing, pulling. Maybe we have another kind of forces, like I said, friction, like air resistance, like gravity. So these are all forces, right? Not only applied force. So for example, hitting is a kind of applied force. Pushing is another kind of applied force. Pressing is another kind of applied force. So pulling is another kind of applied force. We have different applied forces, but it's not, as I said, that it's not only applied force. We can have friction. We can have air resistance. We can have gravity. These are forces. We can have normal force. We can have upthrust. So these are different forces. They have different effects. So I mentioned these effects here that can happen because of some kinds of forces. So in around yourself, you can just look around yourself and you can see many things that change, and it's all because of a force. For example, when someone is moving a chair in your at home, for example, so this is a kind of force, right? What's the changing? Start moving the chair, right? The chair has stopped. When someone is pulling, start moving, or maybe someone push it. Maybe by cleaning places. So you see, by cleaning the places, we can say these are also some other kinds of forces. So it means we have different things around that happen all because of forces. If you look around yourself at home and outside, you can see many things are changed. Whatever changed around you is all because of forces. Without forces, nothing gonna change. So I hope you understand, and if you have any questions, you can write in the comment, or you can, if you have any example about the type of the force and the effect of the force, like this. For example, hitting, make an object move. Pressing, changing the size. Hitting, changing the direction. So if you have another example around yourself, you can write it in the comment. You can just tell me the force is this and the effect was that. Many things are gonna happen around you. Of course, they are all because of forces. Okay, I hope you understand everything, and best wishes.